Colleagues, good afternoon. I'm happy to welcome you at Standoff. And today we're going to discuss the control of employees in the information environment of the company and everything that is related, the pitfalls, the technical and legal aspects. My name is Yuri Osnovsky. I'm head of technical support, Moscow branch, Atom Security. Prior to discussing StaffCop Enterprise, our product, I would like to say just a few words about myself and my company. I've been with this company for more than 2 years. Apart from heading security and technical support, I'm also a legal expert, specializing in the matters of information technology. Therefore, everything I'm going to cover concerning the legal aspects is pretty well substantiated and based on my experience. My company, Atom Security, is a Novosibirsk-based company. We are relatively young. We have been on the market for about 10 years. During this period, we have been developing software designed for employee monitoring. We started from work time accounting, then we proceeded to information security. We are not a large company with the headcount of only 10 people. Our entire personnel is young people. I am the oldest one, I am 54. However, most of our developers are between 30 and 35, which means that they are pretty idea and development hungry guys. We are improving our product, developing new features, removing bugs, and so forth. Okay, but first, let's theorize a bit. Clearly, every company needs to process its data, including employees' personal data or technology data, which means that this company has certain sensitive data and threats, and all of the threats consist of two categories: internal threats and external threats. Internal threats are about stealing data, industrial espionage, and so forth. This is external. And internal threats are about insiders, data being stolen by your own employees, and so forth. We shouldn't forget about unintentional data loss as well. Remember about British counterintelligence officer who forgot his laptop in a commuter train. No secret, it was found by competitors from other intelligence services. It was a huge scandal. Therefore, unintentional data loss is yet another factor which should be taken into account. We have categorized threats, and here are some stats from InfoWatch. As you can see, only 3% of those threats account for external threats, such as intrusion or spyware, while 2/3 account for internal violations, insiders, leakages, and so forth, which means that we should keep this in mind and counter such threats. As I mentioned before, we started developing our software product, mostly focusing on accounting for work time. Prior to proceeding to the next slide, I usually ask, how big is the share of work time that your employees really spend on work? Since we don't have any feedback, I'll just show you some data. Here they are. The most popular answer is 1/4, quarter of the work time is spent on work. And now let's calculate what are the implications of this in terms of costs or losses. Let's take a hypothetical company with 100 employees, a mid-sized company, with an average salary of 30,000 rubles, or no big deal for a Moscow-based company. 100 employees, 30,000 per month, which means that their salary fund is about 3 million per month. Now let's get back to the previous slide. 25% of all employees work, only 25%. Let's take the median, 75% of time. It means that we only lose 25%. In money terms, this company loses 750,000 rubles per month. In other words, once a month, your company just wastes, trashes a brand new vehicle, something like Hyundai Solaris. Isn't it impressive? And this is our reality. And I'm only speaking about direct monthly costs. There are also indirect costs related to non-productive work. Obviously, with these figures being this high, the monitoring of work productivity is extremely relevant. It should be taken into account, let alone people teleworking. With remote working is becoming even more relevant. Let's summarize. Just 3 bullets. We have concluded that the leakage of confidential information can damage both the reputation of the company and its bottom line. Distraction from work costs a lot. For an average company, it's 1 Solaris vehicle per month. It's also important to understand how your employees spend their work time, and there is a tool for it, which is StaffComp, our software product. StaffComp Enterprise is an end-to-end solution designed for accounting for work time, measuring personnel efficiency, providing information security, and investigating incidents. Just 4 bullets. And I'm speaking about security incidents that become known by the security personnel within the company. In design terms, this software comprises 2 major components. They are the servers where all the events are stored, and a small agent software which is installed on workstations that are to be monitored, sending data to the server. All the information except for blocking of applications is done at the server level, which means that there is no exceeding utilization of computer resources and users are not affected. When I'm asked, how can this be possible that an agent collects this data? When I'm asked what kind of data they are, I say all kinds of data. Our agent is capable of collecting any kind of data. Because it has the rights of local administrator, it can reach any node, any component of your workstation. And this slide shows that it can take screenshots and printing data and so forth. Remote desktop monitoring, videos can be shot, and the audio can be recorded. It's everything and anything. Any correspondence can be intercepted, any messages. On top of that, the server processes this information And the software has advanced tools for alerting, notification. Moreover, it can detect when sensitive data are transferred beyond the perimeter of the company, for which vocabularies are used. Images can be searched. If there is an image, for example, if it is a PDF file or JPEG file, the image recognition system can detect it and alert the security personnel to it, notifying them that those images and data are sent beyond the perimeter of the company. There is also abnormality detection. What is it about? For example, a user prints out between 3 and 4 pages per day, and all of a sudden, there are tons of documents sent printing, 30, 40 instead of 3 to 4. It will be detected and reported to the information security officer to investigate why there is such soaring. Well, if it is a task set by the management, it's okay. However, it can be an attempt to steal data. Moreover, the system allows generating mutual dependencies, which can be displayed as graphs. Who contacted whom? We can identify group leaders. For example, if we see that after a meeting, some employee sends up to 15 messages to other employees and receives the same number of responses, we understand who is an informal leader in a team. Sometimes it's important to know about that. For example, when we know that he is not the person in charge, we can also monitor files. We can identify who worked on which files and when, who updated files. Background copying can be done, allowing to restore files, although manually there is no automated restoration. All this can be achieved with background copying. We have covered information security. Now let's proceed to accounting for work time. We offer out-of-the-box categorization of events and resources. Any resource, it can be a website or an application, belongs to a certain category, which can be productive, non-productive, neutral, or incident. There is also the category premium. However, I have never ever seen anybody using this category. I think the words productive and non-productive are self-explanatory. Moreover, they can be changed. For example, if you are a software developer at an automobile company, visiting automobile websites will be productive for you. If your company does not specialize in this business, it will be non-productive. Neutral can be any activity. It can belong to both work and something else. While being harmless, it can be illegal data or something else. All these analytics can be presented as graphs. For example, on this graph, highlighted green are productive activities, gray are neutral activities, white are downtime. Coming to work and leaving work, as well as delays, can be traced based on logging in and password entries. Normally, when you log onto the system, this time is considered to be the beginning of your workday. Moreover, scheduling is supported, starting from which time events should be logged. The system can generate various reports, build interdependency graphs, as well as pivot tables for business units, departments, divisions, and the company in general for the management to understand which of the business units lead the way, which of them are lagging behind. All this achieved with work time accounting tools. The third module of our software product is remote administration. Well, in fact, this tool is intended to help a system administrator. It is a remote desktop allowing to analyze network traffic, control processes and applications, installation and removal of software, and blocking. Well, blocking, many people ask about it. Why don't you block data sending beyond the perimeter? I should tell you, we experience a lot of false starts. Moreover, there is a gateway feature. Moreover, our software knows how to monitor removable disks. For example, we can put memory sticks in read-only mode. If you wish to listen to your music during your work, you can bring it on your memory stick and listen to it. However, you will not be able to download any data on your memory stick. Investigation of information security incidents is intended to help the administrator in detecting and investigating problems that the company may face, which may include data being sent beyond the perimeter, collusion detection with correspondence graphs, search based on keywords in the dictionary, viewing video flows, listening to audio files, and failure control. Moreover, we can collect data on contacts. Analyzing those data, the company can find out if the user is doing something wrong. For example, if the user is sending messages to the competitors, it's a sign of a trouble. We have discussed the features. Now let's discuss the challenges that may be faced in process of implementation. And there are such problems. And the first one is legal. The question is how to make the software legal. Clearly, in order to implement it, you need to adopt regulation in your company, disclose it to all the users. However, there are a number of pitfalls in that. All those who are against monitoring usually say that according to the Constitution and the Criminal Code, privacy shall be protected, as well as the secrecy of correspondence. Should there be a violation, there will be punishment. And that's true. However, normally people who say so don't understand that the working computer is not their property, and the data stored on such a computer has nothing to do with them. It does not belong to them. Both the computer and the data on this computer belong to the employer. And only the employer has the right to the product created by the employee. Very few people understand it. As an expert in legal aspects in such project implementation, I highly recommend that you include in your employment contracts or collective agreements the following provisions. The employer shall have the right to monitor how the equipment provided to the employers is used in the process of fulfillment by such employees of their duties, including the use of hardware and software. And it will change the situation completely. We are not monitoring our employees. We are monitoring how the hardware and software are used to make sure that they are not used to do any harm to the employer. And we mention hardware and software to be able to use both software agents as well as surveillance cameras, if there is such a provision in the contract. And 90% of employers include this provision in their employment agreements. Such monitoring becomes 100% legal. And nobody can file a lawsuit against you. Let's summarize. It is extremely important to explain to your employees that their work computers and handsets are not for personal purposes, that the email box used by the employee to exchange information with counterparties does not belong to the employee. It belongs to the employer. And no private correspondence can be exchanged with the use of it. Last but not least, any paper-based correspondence, classical mailing, shall be carried out by specialized units such as mail offices and so forth, which means that it will always be inspected. This is a really strong argument, capable of convincing even the most hardcore proponents of privacy. What shall be done prior to monitoring? First of all, it's extremely important to develop a regulation and policies explaining what is being monitored, in which business units, and so forth. An agreement from the employee is also required, and it should be part of your employment contract provisions. Normally, no additional document is required for this purpose, and an employment contract is quite sufficient. Moreover, it's really critical to explain to your employees what you are doing and why. Quite often, we ask, you are called staff cop. Are you a cop? We say, no, we're not cops. We're not the police. We're just an employer. Moreover, I recommend that employers always grant their employees access to staff cop to be able to familiarize themselves with data about themselves and only themselves, just to understand where they are not productive. I'll use myself as an example. When I came to our company, I authorized actually installing an agent on my system. And in the very first month, I found out where I was wasting time, where I was inefficient, and it affected my salary, and it helped me to grow my productivity and to start earning more. So I really recommend that employers grant access to such personal information to their employees, while the management should have access to the data of all the employees. As far as information security is concerned, well, this work needs to be done by information security officers, while work time accounting, these data should be available to employees. Another important aspect is ethics and psychology. We should understand the limits of intrusion in order to avoid abuse. For some reason, it's believed that this monitoring is done because of the lack of confidence. That's wrong. Our product is an auditing product. We are not the police. Last but not least, requirements of control and monitoring. As early as in ancient Greece, the question was posed, who guards the guards? Who monitors the security service? I should say that the requirements of the security personnel using our product are listed here. They include integrity, professional competency, confidentiality, and objectiveness. I'll give you an example from a friendly company. There was a huge scandal there. An employee came to work with his personal memory stick with music and installed that memory stick, inserted it in the workstation. He knew that the information could be copied, but he forgot about that. And while he was listening to his music, all the data got downloaded to the memory stick. Well, unfortunately, the security officers proved to be bad guys, and the information, the data that the guy had on his memory stick became available to them. As a result, the employee quit. He left the company along with two other female employees. But after that, the whole information security team was fired because the images that were not supposed to be within the perimeter got there. Even if those information security officers had high integrity, those data wouldn't have been made public. Unfortunately, it was made available to the entire company, and it was a huge scandal. Therefore, the integrity of those working with StaffCop must be really high. Now to technical issues, and there are some. As we know, our software, I'm speaking about the agent, having the rights of the local administrator, analyzes the operation of all the software products installed on the computer. What does it look like? You are right. It looks like virus. 99% of all antivirus products are considered to be viruses by our product and treated respectively. I've changed the order of my slides a little bit. Let's discuss antivirus applications first. To use our software, it's important to properly set up all the antiviral software. First of all, a firewall must be set up to let data pass through to the server, to make the server a trusted entity. It's SSL based, which means that this port and its traffic shall not be analyzed. It's also important after every upgrade of the antivirus software to check the operation of the agent. Quite often, when a more serious antivirus software is installed, such as Kaspersky or something else, people forget about that. However, Windows updates includes integrated antivirus software. For instance, on Friday, we deploy 1,000+ agents. In the morning on Monday, my guys called me to say, look, we can't see a single agent on the system. I come to the office and see that all of them are down. None of them is sending any data. I ask them, what were you doing during the weekend? They say, we don't know what was done here. Then another employee comes. I ask him, colleague, what were you doing over the weekend? We need to understand it. And he says, nothing. I just updated Windows. Okay. Well, the Windows update included integrated antiviral software, which was not set up properly, and it cut all the agents off. So I highly recommend that you set up the antivirus software that you are using in a proper way. A few words about data transfer. Our server is based on port 80 and 443, the same as the agent. It can be changed with settings. Nevertheless, I suggest that you make your ports 80 and 443 transparent to avoid data transfer problems. For higher security, those numbers can be changed. By the way, if you are using a VPN, they must be changed. And a few recommendations concerning the use of the VPN. If you are using a VPN, your communication become much more reliable. Last but not least, how to buy. I'm a technical guy, so I encourage you to turn to our sales personnel. The head of our company is Dmitry Kandibovich. You can find here his contact details. Dmitry is a really customer-centric head of a company. He even specifies his mobile phone. So if you're experiencing any problems in dealing with us, and it happens when dealing with support service, you can contact him directly. If you have any technical support issues in Moscow, you can contact me directly. You can find here my phone number and my email address. All the contact data are on the slide. Colleagues, at this, I would like to say thank you to you for your attention. I'm done with my presentation. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to turn to me by email or by phone. I'll address any of your questions related to our software, pilot zone deployment, and so forth. And I look forward to working with you. And most importantly, please stay safe. Thank you very much.